Through our PIs right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered.
The conversation regarding Kim Porter continues. More discussion over her death and the accusation that there wasn't a proper investigation. We're going to catch you up to speed on this aspect of the Sean Combs story and bring back on forensic death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan to get to the bottom of this. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. We've talked about Kim Porter, right? A key figure in the Sean Combs saga. And with the arrest and indictment of rapper, producer, media mogul Sean Diddy Combs on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges, there is this renewed interest in all aspects of his life, all the people in his life. And that includes, of course, Kim Porter, Combs' ex-girlfriend, who tragically died in her Los Angeles home back in November of 2018.
Yo, what's poppin', Rick Mill family? Shout out for another installment. We getting caught up with Diddy today. Kim Porter, we got some allegations, some evidence coming in that there might have been, I'm going to say evidence, we got some information coming in that they're opening up that there might have been foul play in regards to Kim Porter. As everybody knows, what's been going on with it's been a whole bunch of rumors in the industry. Apparently pneumonia, and Diddy may have given her a drug. At least that's what Jaguar White says, allegedly. So let's lock in, see what's going on. Let's watch this video all the way through, man. Shout out to everybody that's been joining the Rip Mill family lately, man. I appreciate the love and support. You guys have just been killing it, man. Like, I ain't even gonna lie, man. This has been awesome, you know, on this YouTube journey. So shout out to everybody that's been joining in, that's been subscribing. Let's go ahead and watch this video all the way through, and let's see what else they got to say.
Officers reportedly found the 47-year-old unresponsive. She was pronounced dead. Now, initially, an autopsy was performed on Porter the next day, and according to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office, the cause of death was deferred pending additional tests. But then you fast forward to January 2019, and the office then concludes that she died of lobar pneumonia. So the manner of death was listed as natural as opposed to something like homicide, and she'd apparently gone into cardiac arrest. Now, it was reported that she had been battling flu-like symptoms in the days leading up to her death, that there were water bottles, sports drinks, Pedialyte. They were found in her bedroom. Days after her death, Sean Combs commented publicly about Porter's death, writing on Instagram, "For the last 3 days, I've been trying to wake up out of this nightmare, but I haven't. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, baby. I miss you so much. Today I'm going to pay tribute to you. I'm going to try and find the words to explain our unexplainable relationship. We were more than best friends. We were more than soulmates. We were some other S. And I miss you so much. Super Black Love." Combs would reportedly tell Essence magazine the following year, "One night I was checking on her and she was like, 'Puffy, take care of my babies.' She actually said that to me before she died." Now, he's talked about Porter a lot over the years. For example, in 2023, Combs claimed that Porter was the inspiration behind his Love album, Off the Grid. He even dedicated a song to her. Now, despite all of this, there have been rumors. There have been unsubstantiated rumors about Kim Porter's death, about what actually happened. And remember, this is a couple that first started dating in the 90s. They had an on-again, off-again relationship. They went through a custody battle over Christian, the son that they had together. They reconcile. They have twin daughters together, Delilah Starr, Jesse James. Combs reportedly cheated on Porter, though. They broke up in 2007, but by all accounts, Porter and Combs seemed to remain close, to be on good terms as parents until her death. And by the way, a little side note, Porter was actually mentioned relatively recently in one of the sexual assault lawsuits that was filed against Sean Combs. This concerned April Lampros, and she claimed that one night in 1996, Combs had forced her and Porter to take ecstasy and have sex with each other as Combs watched and touched himself. And she said afterwards that Combs even invited her to Porter's birthday party. Now, Lampros would also allege that Porter got angry and was resentful of her and helped get her fired from the bar where Lampros was working. So it was really interesting to hear that. But like I said, there have been theories popping up, particularly on Reddit, about Porter's real cause of death, about whether or not she was killed. And one of those people who seems to believe that there is more to the story is Albie Shore. This is Porter's ex. His real name is Albert Joseph Brown. They shared a son together named Quincy. Well, after Combs' arrest on federal sex crimes charges, Brown posted on Instagram, "In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire which brings us here today." Ventura.
And you know what's wild is that allegedly, of course, that's what's triggering all of this, is that there was a tell-all book that Kim Porter was making. This tell-all book apparently told all, and it was going to do exactly what Cassie did, but like a whole decade sooner. So we're going to find out more when the case starts and they go through discovery to give more information. But let's go ahead and lock in and see what else they got to say.
Of course, is Combs' ex-girlfriend, who filed that initial sexual assault, sex trafficking lawsuit against Sean Combs last year. It spiraled into multiple other lawsuits and arguably spiraled into these charges that he's now facing today. And Brown wrote, "I'm writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter." And he called her death a tragic murder. Now, interestingly, there are reports that Albie Shore has even taken more security measures after asking for an investigation. In fact, he was presented an award at the American Liver Foundation's National Legacy Gala in New York. And in his speech, he says, "We even have Homeland Security in the building. Detective Jackson, good to see you." Not entirely sure what he's talking about, what he's referencing, but considering it was Homeland Security that raided Sean Combs' properties in LA and Miami and collected all that evidence that federal prosecutors are now using in their criminal case against him, interesting comment to make. Now, Gene Deal, this is Combs' former bodyguard, spoke on the Art of Deal podcast about this, and he said, "You got to realize, man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated." He went on to say, "How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim? Be her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing, everything is missing, that she could get in touch with her little girls if they're not at home, or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that? All that's missing. How is it that?" The detectives didn't even examine Porter's body where she passed away. And Deal emphasized, if that is true, that case needs to be reopened. And also in regards to the idea that she got a massage right before her death, he also said,
And you know what's wild as well too is that they're saying that there wasn't an investigation, but there's. So think about this. Do y'all think that the same way Diddy paid and had the Cassie tape from the hotel, bride and push away, do you think that Diddy bribed the coroner's office or whoever it may have been that was supposed to do that autopsy report on Kim Porter's body? Because allegedly there was a first report that concluded it as foul play. And then another report came back and said it was natural causes of the death. So do you think that Diddy paid somebody to finagle it? Drop a comment below. Let me know what y'all think. Maybe Diddy was the one who paid to try to get that pushed off as a natural cause of death instead of a murder. They looking into it now. So let's go.
who gives somebody a massage when they get pneumonia? Deal also apparently took issue with the alleged timing of buying her gold casket. He said, how you order a gold casket 2 months before somebody dies. And he even addressed Albie Shore beefing up his security. Al ain't no fool. He's smart by getting extra security. Now, with all of this as a backdrop, the last time we talked about Kim Porter on Sidebar is when a book was published on Amazon. It was entitled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. It is allegedly a memoir from Kim Porter herself detailing her relationship with Sean Combs, but it reportedly contains typos, shocking claims, some are saying even inaccurate statements. In fact, Quincy Brown, Christian, Jesse Delilah Combs, they wrote in a joint statement on Instagram, we have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not. And anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. And by the way, even Combs authorized his attorney, Erica Wolf, to release a statement on his behalf regarding the new book, stating, the Kim Porter memoir is fake. It is also offensive, a shameless attempt to profit from tragedy. Chris Todd has no respect for Miss Porter or her family, who deserve better. Unlike the fabrications in his sickening memoir, it is an established fact that Miss Porter died of natural causes. May she rest in peace. And Al B. Shore reportedly sent a cease and desist letter to Amazon as well. And Chris Todd, by the way, he's the author. And when we say memoir, we have to be clear here. There's no information verifying that Porter actually authored these writings or authorized a book to be written by her or anybody else at any point. And even the author really couldn't confirm whether these are actually Porter's words or not, but he seems to believe it's true, claiming that Porter created the information herself on a flash drive, which Todd says she gave to her friends prior to her death. Again, her family, loved ones deny this, but either way, interesting to think about. And I sat down with Chris Todd to talk about this, and this is some of what he had to say.
Through our PIs right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered. We need to listen to the people that are online, even these online sleuths, the bloggers.
Did y'all just hear what he said? He said they got evidence that Kim Porter was poisoned. Let's go ahead and look. Let's listen to that one more time. Let's just dump that back.
Through our PIs right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered. We need to listen to the people that are online, even these online sleuths, the bloggers. A lot of information comes out from this kind of community. And there's talk of toxins being in her system at first. It was called deferred at first, then it was changed. It's disturbing. It's dark. It's sad. This is an abused woman telling her story. When I first read the whole thing, I only had a couple pages at first. Now, as for the tapes, I've been told that I can have access to the tapes.
What are the tapes? First, start there. What tapes are you talking about?
The big ones.
You're talking about sex tapes.
Yeah, but with very famous people.
Okay, so talk to us about what you were told about the tapes.
Yo, y'all listening? They said they got the sex tapes with very famous people, evidence of foul play in Kim Porter's murder. This is all going to be coming out in trial, y'all. Stay locked in, man. Let's see where else this goes.
That if I pass the test, they trust me, I will be the one to do it.
Who's they?
The sources and the people around the community of Kim and Diddy.
And I should tell you that after our interview, Amazon responded to all of this blowback by removing Chris Todd's book from its store. So with all of that in mind, let's revisit this, shall we? I want to bring in forensic death investigator from Jacksonville State University, Joseph Scott Morgan, host of the Body Bags podcast. I encourage everybody to check it out. Who doesn't want to hear the soothing voice of Joseph Scott Morgan for a prolonged period of time? And by the way, we're very lucky because Joseph told us that this is the first recording he is doing from his new studio. And gosh, Joseph, you look phenomenal.
Oh, well, thank you, Jesse. It's good to hear that from you. A person so stylish as yourself and with the world's best hair, of course.
Well, that's very kind
unlike
of you.
mine that is graying and not thinning, but it's gray nonetheless. But
It looks
thanks
good.
for having me on. It's always a pleasure. Well, thank you. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
So listen, I'm happy to have you on. We had you on months ago talking about this. There have been these kind of interesting developments since we last spoke. First, if you could just tell us, again, let's set the stage. Do you have any reason to believe that Kim Porter did not die of lobar pneumonia, and whether Porter could have been poisoned in a way to mimic those symptoms?
Wow, that's a very highly sophisticated premise. I think putting out that she could have been poisoned in some way, certainly something that would be undetectable. What I can tell you is that there was quite a bit of pathology with her autopsy. And, you know, you'd mentioned just a moment ago that she had died of lobar pneumonia. For folks that don't know, just a brief little primer here. Our lungs are comprised of lobes. Okay. So hence lobar pneumonia. The right lung has 3 lobes. The left lung has 2. All right. And the reason you have 2 is on the left is because the heart takes up the space. It kind of overlies the lung on that side. Now, her lungs, just so that I have the numbers right, to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, her lungs were 850 grams for the left. That's the one with only 2 lobes. And then the right lung was 900 grams. Now, that might not mean much to most of the listening public, but I can tell you this. For a woman in particular, alarm bells kind of go off if you get anything that's like up in the upper 400 range. We're talking about the weight of these lungs is desperately heavy. And not only that, but when the lungs were dissected at autopsy, they had this kind of purulent fluid that came out, and it's just kind of a polite way of saying pus. She had an ongoing infection. Now, I've investigated a lot of deaths over the course of my career in New Orleans.
All right, hold on. Let me repeat back what I just heard. Let me see if I'm comprehending, because maybe y'all understand as well too. Maybe y'all understand too, Rookman family. So pretty much, he said it should have been 400 milligrams for the lymph nodes of the diagnosis of her. Was it her liver? And they said that it came back the left as 800 and the right as 900, and the estimated amount should have been 400, which means that it was double in mass of what it should have been for a woman her size. At least that's what I heard. Y'all let me know what you heard. Maybe I heard that incorrectly, but let's lock in and see what else the good doctor got to say.
And Atlanta. And I have yet to work a case where someone was able to introduce an agent into someone's system that wound up causing a pneumonia and leading to their death. However, I think one of my biggest questions is, because this is not something that just happened overnight, Jesse. This is a prolonged event. You had a physician, a house call physician, and that's the way they're termed, apparently, that was coming out to administer treatment to Miss Porter. How in the world this could have been missed, I have no idea. I have had people that are suffering from medical conditions in and of themselves lethal, if particularly pneumonia. Pneumonia is very dangerous, and left to go untreated. And when I say untreated, she was given like a Z-Pack, which is kind of a broad spectrum antibiotic, which a lot of people receive. They give her an IV that is kind of vitamin infused, lots of fluid bottles, they said, trying to do electrolyte replacement. But once you get this kind of bacterial infection that's going on, and you get to the point where your lungs are this heavy and you're producing pus at this point in time.
Okay, so it was the lungs. The lungs are heavy. All right, so that's what it was. It wasn't her liver, it was her lungs, and the lungs are producing pus. All right.
I think my big question is, was this neglect? Because, this kind of passive thing that's going on, I don't see anything at this point in time that would indicate that she had some kind of trauma. And if somebody has an indication here, and I'm speaking to those individuals that are insinuating that she was in some way poisoned, my advice is get in contact with the authorities. Let them know this information if you are truly invested in the case relative to solving it. Because you can say all kinds of things, but if you have hard scientific evidence that this occurred, then let us know. I also take exception to this idea that's being thrown out there, Jesse, that her death was not investigated. Now, you mentioned electronic devices, and that's all fine and good, but when you say her death was not investigated, what precisely is meant by that statement? Because I got to tell you, there are a lot of people out there, cases that happen every single day, Jesse, that the medical examiner never puts their hands on those remains. They're never autopsied. They're probably cases in the best set of circumstances. It'd be preferable to do an autopsy. She had an autopsy performed, a thorough autopsy. Now, I can't speak to how thoroughly her tissues were examined afterwards, but she had a lot of stuff going on with her systemically that would give you an indication that she had some serious problems going on. And just let me throw this out there to you as well. Her system was not, her metabolism was not working within normal ranges. And one of the reasons, not only were her lungs heavy, but she had a condition that's referred to as pleural effusion. And so just imagine that your lungs placed in your chest, all right, you have your lungs, your heart right there. And normally that space is referred to as the pleural space. Normally that space is just open space. When they opened her chest, she had fluid that poured out of that space. Okay, and it was a considerable amount that she had coming out of the pleural area. They were able to measure it, and it was statistically significant. And what happens is with that process, I talked about how heavy the lungs are if you have a pneumonia that's going on. So not only are you having trouble breathing, if anyone's ever had respiratory distress, or if you've ever had a loved one that has pneumonia, it's a horrible thing, a horrible set of conditions to be in. You combine that with pleural effusion, so you have this fluid that's impacting the lungs' ability or lack thereof to expand and contract. And so she kind of had the double whammy going on there.
Yeah, and I appreciate you not only going into the specifics of what might have happened to her, but also pushing back on the idea that she wasn't investigated, because there was an autopsy. And in fact, according to an autopsy report that was obtained by In Touch, I want to read you what this says. She was given Toradol by intramuscular route and was given intravenous fluids, including saline and vitamins. Ms. Porter called this physician the following day and explained she had no appetite. Her nurse visited and gave her more saline solution with vitamins. The next day, she complained to the physician with a streak of blood in her phlegm. She also received a massage. She was watching television with people and subsequently went to bed. She was later found unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. And the autopsy revealed fibrinopurulent effusions, infectious fluids in the chest cavities. And
I don't know, chat. Rick Mill fam, I don't know. What y'all think about that? So, she been complaining about pain. They came back, gave her saline, and she was getting a massage. Why was she getting a massage while she was sick, and to the point where they came back and found her unresponsive? It sounds like some foul play, but we're gonna go ahead and see. Details are gonna be coming out very soon. As you can see, they are trying to go for a speedy trial, which the defense think is gonna help Diddy drastically in this case. And some attorneys that I've been watching and say that that's actually a positive for Diddy, that they're going for a speedy trial to try to get everything all together. So with that being said, shout out to everybody that's made it to this point, watching this video all the way through. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for the love and support. And y'all gonna be seeing more of everything, man. Drop a comment below. It's just been amazing seeing everybody engaged. Love everything that's going on in the community that we're developing here. If you're new to the family, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I appreciate y'all for dropping in and watching all the way through. So shout out, gang. Y'all take care. It's been a blessing, Rick Mill fam. Gang.